everyone, and welcome back to The Dynamic Entrepreneur. However, this is part of the Cultivated series, and I know it's been so long you might have forgotten what it's about, and if you have not heard about it, I recommend you go listen to, I think there were like 3 episodes to begin with. And here's the reason why it's coming up. One, I just looked in the back end of the podcast, like analytics, and I noticed somebody kind of listened to the first episode, and I was like, oh wow, I have not spoken about this in a long time. And I remember the first episodes that I was recording, it was very hard. I really struggled at that time because it was like reliving it all over again. And all the things that I thought I had healed from, I hadn't. Let's be real. I hadn't healed from much. But as time goes and you heal and you do your shadow work and you just get through things. You know, they say time heals all. That is not true. However, it does help. And I also had to get really clear on the purpose of the podcast. It is not a poor me podcast. If you got that, that's not on me, that's on you. It is really to help bring more awareness. And it's also to help others who may have found themselves in a cult-like situation, and it is way more common than we think, to know that there is hope. You are normal to think things are not okay. If you think things are not okay, they're probably not. I looked for someone to aspire to when I was in it, and I was like, we're not like everyone else. I did. I looked for someone else who was like me. You know, we all look for people that we can identify with. And that exact fact saved my life. And I know it'll come in a much later episode, but at one point in the cult, I was standing on top of our 3-story building, and I was ready to jump. That is how much I had given up. And if you know me, I am full of zest of life. I am motivated to do everything pretty much. And how I found someone to identify to was actually on an audiobook, Abraham Hicks. And I know that it's kind of a different one, but saved my life. Saved my soul and rekindled my purpose here. And another reason why I want to talk about the cult again is because I couldn't really fully talk about it when certain members of my family were still so close into it that if they got wind that I was speaking about it, they would in a way pay for it. And I'm not saying with their life or anything like that, but they would get in trouble. So much so that this person that I loved so dearly in my life, since I left, like over 10 years, I have barely spoken to, because I knew how much trouble she would be in if I spoke to her. And you're going to say, what kind of trouble? We'll cover that in another episode, because this isn't what that's for. But, that being said, 3 weeks ago, I had to go back to Quebec. And I had to go back into cult territory. And I hadn't been back this way since the day I left. Was I nervous? Surprisingly, no. But was I ready? 100%. Did I know who I fully was now? Yeah. Did I know that whatever was happening over there was super fucked up? Yeah. And could they touch me in any way? Whether it's physically, spiritually, any single way that they could think of? Abso-fucking-lutely not. And I knew that. And they say, like, oh, walk into a room and you can change the whole energy, the whole vibe of the room. That is the kind of shit that I was walking in with. You no longer control any aspect of my life anymore, ever again. So I am getting amped up because it was huge. And it was a huge test as, okay, Kim, did you actually heal as much as you think you did? Because sometimes we do think, oh, hey, I healed, and it's all good. And then we get a dose of reality. But yes, I had healed a lot. And how do I know? They pulled some shit. And it was totally fine. But the most detrimental part of that was something I had been blinded to and hadn't realized, is that someone even closer to me had gone through something similar and never talked about it. And although I was walking back into that territory, owning all of my energy like a badass bitch, he wasn't. And it shattered my heart because I had been so hurt I had never noticed, but he had never been in a place to ever talk about it. So I'm gonna fucking talk about it. And yes, I will drop F-bombs because the stuff that happened and continues to happen is not okay. It's just absolutely not okay. And I hope, you know how people say, oh, I hope this reaches one person and helps them? I quite literally hope this reaches at least one person and helps them. Because I know a lot of people in these circumstances are me, who is standing on the edge of a three-story building wanting to jump. I'm not making this up. And this is not a victimized pity party. This is meant to empower, bring knowledge and awareness, and talk about an elephant in society that we don't want to talk about. That's different than what everything else is going on right now. So I'll be kicking these episodes back up. And I know a lot of you guys listen to this as entertainment, but please always keep in the back of your mind if you notice any of the behavior cues that I'll talk about in someone, maybe pay a little bit more attention to them. Talk to you guys soon.